everything that we have there got burned.
To me, I give God praise because I know why it happened like that.
Midnight inferno destroys goods worth millions of naira at Singa Market. Shop owners count losses.
This is not the right time to talk about zoning. All we need now is to consolidate on our victory.
APC moves to build progressive and united political family, engages National Assembly members-elect.
Democracy strives on the respect for the rule of law.
Judicial independence, panacea for lasting democracy as judges brainstorm to strengthen judicial services. Hello and thank you for joining us on the network news on NTA. I'm Naja Atutijani. Michael Olaleye joins us from Lagos. Remember, you can follow this newscast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our other social media platforms. President Muhammadu Buhari is back in Abuja after his official visits to Katsina and Doha, the state of Qatar. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president was received on arrival at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by Chief of Staff Professor Ibrahim Gambari, FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello, and Inspector General of Police Usman Al-Ghali Baba. Also at the airport were Director General, Department of State Services, Yusuf Magaji Bichi, and other senior government officials. While in Katsina, President Buhari performed his civic duty during the last presidential and National Assembly elections by voting candidates of his choice. And in Qatar, the president participated in the 5th UN Conference on Least Developed Countries. Meanwhile, the presidency has addressed public concerns over President Muhammadu Buhari's seeming non-reaction to the Supreme Court judgment on the issue of 500 and 1,000 naira old currency notes. In a statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, at no time did the President instruct the Attorney General and CBN Governor to disobey any court orders involving the government and other parties. From the time the President was sworn into office in 2015, he never once directed anybody to defy court orders in the strong belief that democracy cannot be practiced without the rule of law. And the commitment of his administration to this principle has not changed. Following the ongoing intense debate about the compliance concerning the legality of the old currency notes, the presidency wishes to state clearly that President Buhari has not done anything knowingly and deliberately to interfere with or obstruct the administration of justice. Neither is he a micromanager who will stop the Attorney General and the CBN Governor from performing the details of their duties in accordance with the law. The presidency also says it is debatable if there is proof of willful denial by the two of them on the orders of the Apex Court at this time. The directive of the president following the meeting of the Council of State is that the bank must make available for circulation all the money which is needed, and nothing has happened to change the position. It is an established fact that the president is an absolute respecter of judicial process and the authority of the courts has not acted in any way to obstruct the administration of justice, cause lack of confidence in the administration of justice, or otherwise interfere or corrupt the courts. It is therefore wide off the mark to blame the president for the current controversy over the cash scarcity, despite the Supreme Court judgment. The CBN has no reason not to comply with court orders on the excuse of waiting for directives from the president. The workforce of the Nigerian communication satellite is strategically reviewing its operational environment and mapping modalities to stay afloat in the dynamic and competitive digital technological space, especially now that the days of Nigeria's existing communication satellite, Comsat 1R, are numbered like those of other countries. In this fourth industrial revolution, where reliance on ICT is heightened and countries and companies which launched communication satellites are cashing out, Comsat is realigning its vision and mission with current realities.
We already have plans for a replacement satellite. We're currently reviewing, we have consultants working with us on the best business model to adopt for the deployment of the replacement satellite. And I assure you, by the time 1R comes to end of life, which is still a little, it has some useful life left, we would have a replacement satellite that will be able to either directly or in partnership with other international providers.
Comsat has been sitting on a gold mine. But we have been scratching the surface all the time. We want to now dig down, look at our infrastructure, what issues we have, what relationship we have with the builders of the satellite company, understand issues that has to do with ground control, and also other social licenses to operate. That's another pillar. We're looking at that. We're looking at health and safety. We're looking at sustainability.
The new vibe includes teamwork and customer satisfaction. A midnight fire incident has engulfed goods worth millions of naira at Singa Market. Yohannes Hassan visited the scene of the inferno and filed this report.
The fire incident started around 2 a.m. at the Savannah building in Singa Popular Market in Kano, with many shops razed and owners in sorrow. Mbano Eugene is among the traders who lost millions of naira to the inferno.
I have an honor to do to give God glory. And to me, I give God praise because I know why it happened like that.
To rescue some of our goods, but we couldn't be able to open the warehouse. So everything that we have there got burned, all of them.
Though firefighters were able to quench the fire, only few goods from the razed shops and warehouses were evacuated. They appeal to government and well-meaning individuals to come to their aid. In Kano, Yohannes Hassan, NTA News.
President-elect Bola Tinubu is congratulating Professor Saheed Aderinto, prominent professor of history and African diaspora studies at Florida International University, for winning the prestigious Dan David $300,000 prize in history. Bola Tinubu says this rare achievement of the professor has not only further etched his name in academic excellence, but also made Nigeria, Africa, and the entire black race proud, for which the continent must remain thankful. In a personally issued statement, the President-elect commends the selection committee of the International Award for recognizing the useful contributions of Professor Aderinto to the study of history and for making an excellent paper. It's nice to know you're still watching, and we're talking diplomatic ties now. The Commonwealth has a responsibility to create a durable future which offers prosperity, which is in harmony with nature, to secure a unique and only planet for generations to come. This is the takeaway from this year's Commonwealth Day celebrations, which notes that the extraordinary potential held by the Commonwealth is more than the challenges it faces. It also offers unparalleled strength, not only to face the future, but to build it. Peace, the much-needed material for development in every society, informed this year's theme, for forging a sustainable and peaceful Commonwealth future.
The day aims to unite 2.5 billion Commonwealth citizens in celebration of their shared values and principles, and in pursuit of common future centered on sustainability and peace. The day also marked the 10th anniversary of signing of the Commonwealth Charter, which outlines the values and principles that unify the 56 Commonwealth countries, representing 1/3 of humanity.
This week marks the 10th anniversary of the Charter of the Commonwealth, which gives expression to our defining values.
We affirm
in her Commonwealth Day message, the
every
Commonwealth
person
Secretary General Patricia
possesses
Scotland
unique
Casey
worth
paid a
and
tribute
dignity.
to her late Majesty, the
We
Queen,
affirm
for her 7
our
decades of
desire
service. Commonwealth Day has been celebrated on the second Monday of March every year since 1977. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The governing All Progressives Congress has commenced engagement with its National Assembly members-elect in Abuja in line with the party's ideology and desire to build a progressive and united political family. Salihu Gwanara has the details.
After the successful presidential and National Assembly elections and certificate of return issued to them as National Assembly members-elect, the prospective members of the 10th National Assembly have been engaged by the party hierarchy to familiarize them with the party's demands. The meeting, organized by the National Working Committee of APC, was held behind closed door at the presidential villa. Some members described the meeting as timely.
Multiplicity of various political parties in the National Assembly will bring about better and more robust and people-oriented legislation.
We would also ensure that overriding national interests prevail much more than party interests.
The interaction focus about the gubernatorial election, which we believe that we are strong, but we want to be more strong.
This is not the right time to talk about zoning. All we need now is to consolidate on our victory.
Prominent among the attendees are leaders of the current 9th National Assembly, Senator Ahmad Lawan and Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, and the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has assured Labour Party of access to all relevant documents to enable it pursue its case at the Election Tribunal. During an emergency meeting with the Labour Party legal team, the INEC chairman pledged to hold a meeting with the 37 resident electoral commissioners to allow the party and others access to electoral materials, as the commission has nothing to hide. He also said proper communication should be done to avoid hitches in the process. The leader of the legal team, Livy Uzoku, expressed worries that with about 10 days left for the party to file its suit, the commission is yet to allow the party access to the materials, but thanked the commission for the reassurance. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Ali Baba, has directed Commissioners of Police in charge of state commands to ensure that investigations in all cases of violations against the 2022 Electoral Act during the February 25th, 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections are concluded and the case files forwarded to INEC for prosecution. The IGP, in a statement, also tasks strategic police managers to engage stakeholders in their respective jurisdictions through town hall meetings and other viable avenues to achieve credible governorship and state assembly elections. The IGP further calls on Nigerians to collaborate with the police and other law enforcement agencies to ensure a hitch-free security architecture for all and sundry, particularly the electorate, to exercise their franchise without molestation, harassment, or security threats. Judicial independence has been identified as a cornerstone of every democratic government which protects the rights of citizens. It is in the light of this that more than 100 judges and heads of courts across the country converged on Abuja with the aim of strengthening quality judicial services. Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk has the details.
These are judicial officers from all over the Federation coming together to brainstorm on ways of enhancing judicial independence and quick dispensation of justice. Their aim is to ensure that the judicial system aids and protects democratic norms. To achieve this, the judicial officers are of the view that civil liberty must be protected. It is a common ground among the judicial officers that the system can only function optimally through hard work and being proactive in protecting the integrity of the courts by eliminating inefficiency and corruption.
Democracy strives on the respect for the rule of law. Its principles also advocate the independence of the judiciary, the doctrine of separation of powers, guarantee of fundamental rights, freedom of expression epitomized by free press and media, as well as free and fair elections.
It is when the judiciary works independently without interference from any arm of government or individual, then we can say justice has been served.
They agreed that in exercising the discretion of the court, premium must be given to law of equity and good conscience, regardless of which political winds are blowing. In the dispensation of justice to both high and the low, the judicial officers must be courageous in discharging their duties.
It is our collective responsibilities to safeguard the independence of the judiciary, knowing fully well that the prestige of the judiciary is indeed essential in a system of government such as ours, in which the judiciary functions independently.
Participants affirmed that the independence of the judiciary is the pillar of democracy. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Now we'll go back to election stories, where the presidency has described the February 25th presidential elections as an improvement on past elections ever held in the country. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity appreciates former ambassadors Mark Green and Johnny Carson, alongside other foreign observers, for their concerns over the recent general elections in Nigeria, saying it is worth setting their comments in context. He also adds that no one has disputed the results of the election except the candidates who fell short in what he described as the biggest and most competitive presidential election in the history of Nigeria, won by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was congratulated by the U.S. State Department and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, as well as the ECOWAS and the African Union. He noted also that though there were some delays and technical faults in the process, as is the case in any election, the world over says the integrity of the Electoral Act of 2022 has been strengthened. It's time to join Michael in our Lagos studio for more reports. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Najatu. Ahead of his prosecution for reckless driving, Oluwaseun Shibaju, the bus driver involved in last Thursday's accident with a train, is currently receiving medical attention at the Federal Medical Center Ebute Metta after undergoing a surgery from internal wounds he sustained in the accident. This was disclosed by the Commissioner of Police Railway Command, Yetunde Alunge. Hingino John Adams tells us more.
We have guards.
Commissioner of Police Railway Command said the BRT driver was transferred from the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps office within her area of jurisdiction after receiving first aid treatment following the unfortunate accident last Thursday. He was then taken to Lasuth, where samples were taken to test for illegal substance. But on Saturday, he complained of feeling sick and was rushed to FMC Ebute Metta, where it was discovered that he had internal injuries and was admitted.
In the early hours of Sunday, that is 12th March, we were informed by the policeman that was guarding him that they had to rush him into the theater. He came out of the theater, and as at now, he's responding to treatment.
She explained that investigation is still ongoing into his alleged role in the accident.
We have guards at the entrance of, or by the door of his ward. Until he recovers, there's no way we can take him to court.
While families of those who lost their lives in the accident are still mourning their loved ones and the injured nursing their wounds, relevant authorities are on their toes to ensure those affected receive all the support they require. Meanwhile, Oreolua Aino, the corps member who lost her life in the accident, has been buried. In Lagos, Hingino, John Adams, NTA News.
There is a renewed determination in the maritime industry to upscale gender parity by leveraging opportunities provided by technology to drive innovation. Towards achieving this goal, regulatory agencies in the sector want women to move steps further by signaling interest in the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF, in order to dominate the shipping business.
I was afraid of climbing the mountain.
It is a woman's world, driven by the reality of what will have been the color of the universe if they are absent. But to further entrench their participation and give them a place of pride that benefits their status, this platform is advocating an innovative solution to achieving that goal. The maritime industry, for instance, accounting for 2% of women from the 1.2 million seafarers across the world, is incorporating technology and innovation to stimulate gender equality, and as a starting point, the National Seafarers Development Program, NSDP, and other trainings will henceforth have specific slots allotted to women.
Women can equally be part and parcel to the ship owners. By venturing into the issue of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, women should not only be shy to exploit the participation of major projects in the maritime industry, like establishment of jetties.
While the forum expects more women to follow the trail of successful individuals, it is equally emphasizing the importance of getting equipped with the right tools.
The maritime industry, the surveillance processes must be driven by technology, and the women should please take on this challenge to ensure that we embed technology in our processes.
We have the mentorship group who can pick them up very small, groom them, and from there we begin to pick.
The blue economy, for it to grow, you really need a lot of technology and digitalization. And with the focus women bring to bear on any work they do, bringing this to their consciousness will further help drive the required growth.
The consensus going forward is that equity will not just materialize, but there is need for women to empower themselves through collaboration and support for one another. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages, the news.
We're talking education matters now. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, says the 2023 mock UTME, earlier scheduled for Thursday, 16th March 2023, has now been shifted to Thursday, 30th March 2023. The board, in a statement, notes that the shift in date is owing partly to change in the date for governorship and state houses of assembly elections, earlier scheduled to hold on Saturday, 11th March. The statement further adds that candidates who registered early and indicated willingness to take the mock UTME will be notified when to print their mock UTME notification slip, which will contain their centers and other details. The mock UTME is an optional examination introduced by the board to provide opportunity for candidates to have hands-on experience with the system, as well as afford the board an opportunity to gauge readiness and that of its partners for the main UTME exam, which is scheduled to hold between 29th April and 12th May 2023. And after weeks of petrol scarcity in Abuja, which triggered long queues at fuel stations, normalcy seems to have returned as the usual long hours of waiting to buy fuel have been gradually reduced. Asabe Williams reports.
Major filling stations that used to have heavy queues before were without the usual sights, as most of the filling stations dispense petrol to the cars in their various outlets, and the long lines have now thinned out.
About 10 minutes ago, I came in and I'm almost getting close to the fuel pumps now. If this tempo can be maintained, we won't be suffering the way we suffered.
Although the situation was varied at locations visited, but observations indicated an improvement of the situation in past weeks. Hope seems to have been restored with the general availability of the products, while expectations remain that before the week runs out, normalcy will be fully restored.
I slept here last week, but this day I just came, the thing was just moving. There's no queue there, safe.
How long have you been on queue, sir?
No, it's up to 5 minutes. I just came. There's no queue at all. We hope for more improvements, so there will not be queuing for fuel.
This development is seen as a welcome one, as motorists heave a huge sigh of relief. Asabe Williams, NTA News.
Thank you, Asabe. It's time to join Musa for all the latest in the world of business.
In a bid to promote ease of doing business in the country, the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBIC, has recognized the Standards Organization of Nigeria and 4 other government agencies among the top 5 most business efficient and transparent agencies for the year 2022. This was contained in the federal government's 2022 Executive Order 001 compliance report by PEBIC. Executive Secretary of PEBIC, Jumoke Oduwole, said that the agencies have performed extremely well to meet consumer demands in the best and most efficient ways to promote businesses in their bids to achieve excellent service delivery. Oduwole said Standard Organization came second, scoring 78.68%. The organization has also stepped up its game by investing massively in laboratory testing and calibration and measurement process to advance testing of Nigerian products for local consumption and export. This feat is said will help Nigeria participate actively in the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, AFCFTA. Now, the United States President Joe Biden says the American banking system is safe while assuring customers that they will have access to their money. The president, in a speech, explained that he has instructed his administration to protect small businesses and workers in the wake of a regulator shutdown of both Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank over the last few days.
Come from the fees that banks pay into the deposit insurance fund. Because of the actions that our regulators have already taken, every American should feel confident that their deposits will be there if and when they need them. Second, the management of these banks will be fired. If the bank is taken over by FDIC, the people running the bank should not work there anymore. Third, investors in the banks will not be protected. They knowingly took a risk, and when the risk didn't pay off, investors lose their money. That's how capitalism works.
At Alta Securities, the equities market closed Monday's trading session in a negative territory. The all-share index shed 0.01% to end the session at 55,788.37 points. A total turnover of 179 million securities valued at 2.5 billion naira were traded in 4,296 deals. Equity capitalization fell to 30.39 trillion naira as investors lost 3.34 billion naira. NGX Group, Transcorp and Sterling Bank were the most traded stocks with a combined volume of more than 73 million. Well, that's it. The news continues after the break.
Thanks for staying tuned. The Africa First Lady Peace Mission, under the leadership of the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has donated food items and other educational materials to other African First Ladies, particularly within the sub-region. This is part of efforts aimed at promoting peace and development in Africa. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
The Africa First Ladies Peace Mission is a conference of the African First Ladies for Peace Building and Conflict Prevention. It is the product of the 4th UN Conference on Women in 1995, This organization has aligned its mission with Agenda 2063 of the African Union, which is the continent's strategic framework for inclusive and sustainable development. Since assumption of the First Lady of Nigeria as the current president of the organization in November 2021, strategic efforts have been put in place towards achieving their mandates, leading to the establishment of the befitting secretariat in Abuja, Nigeria. The distribution of these materials, therefore, is aimed at supporting the effort of the African First Ladies in various capacities for assisting their people through humanitarian activities, particularly in supporting women and children, as well as other vulnerable groups. The items donated include rice, exercise books, as well as nutritional powdered milk for children. The benefiting countries at the first batch of the exercise include Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ghana.
On behalf of the High Commissioner of Nigeria, I thank the First Lady of Nigeria, Hajia Aisha Buhari, for this magnificent gesture. We are grateful.
Similar items were also donated to First Lady of Sierra Leone, Fatima Madabio.
The items have been offloaded, and I have informed the Commissioner of Police, who has also deployed police officers to be with me, to ensure that these items are secured and properly forwarded to our First Lady.
The same gesture was extended to the First Lady of Liberia, Claire Mary Ware.
I'm so glad, for the people of Nigeria through our office to think about the underprivileged people in Liberia.
Similar distribution is expected to be extended to other African countries, particularly within the sub-region. I am Ali Kabir, NTA News.
Next is sports update with World of Sports. President Muhammadu Buhari extends condolences to the family of Ismaila Muhammad Abubakar, former coach of the Nigerian female football team, the Super Falcons, who died at the age of 80. In a statement, President Buhari joins the family to mourn the deceased, popularly known as Ismaila Mabo Nakandi, the football manager, who was also a legendary footballer in the domestic league, making his mark as a player and captain of Mighty Jets of Jos. As the head coach of the Nigeria women's national team at the 1999 FIFA Women's World Cup, 2000 Summer Olympics and 2004 Olympics, the president believes that Mabo's legacy will live on in the players and the coaches who came in contact with him during his career. The president prays that the memory of the departed will be a blessing to those who mourn. Similarly, the wife of the President-elect, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is mourning the death of the first elected female senator, Franca Afebwa, saying her contributions to Nigeria and the women folk will never be forgotten. In a statement, Senator Tinubu describes late Senator Afebwa, who died aged 80 in her Benin City home, Edo State, as a trailblazer and quintessential lawmaker who led the way in showing that women can participate in politics and make meaningful impact. Senator Tinubu commiserates with her family, the people of Okpela in Itsako East local government area where she hailed from, and the government and people of Edo and Delta states, while praying for the repose of her soul and for God to comfort all the loved ones she left behind. And also a loss suffered by the NTA family as the remains of the Assistant Director Marketing, Nigerian Television Authority Headquarters, Abuja Malam Idris Nuhu, have been laid to rest in Zaria. Sagir Awal reports that the burial was attended by sympathizers within and outside Kaduna State.
Thousands of sympathizers within and outside Zaria, including the representative of the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority and retired staff, observed the funeral prayer of late Idris Nuhu, led by the Chief Imam of Low Cost Mosque, Malang Aliyu Muhammad. Age 58, late Idris Nuhu was described by many as humble, simple and committed civil servant that contributed to the development of Nigerian Television Authority and Zazzau Emirate.
He's very religious, very caring. and he is always with his people.
He's a good man, man of character, good character, and what have you.
Idris died after a brief illness and is survived by a wife, aged mother, and 12 children and many relatives. Prayers were offered for the repose of the soul of the deceased. From Zaria, Sagir Awal, NTA News.
It's time for a quick check on the weather prospects.
Glad to have you join us on the weather forecast. It's been sunny and warm over the northern region, and we expect lots of this sunshine hours over the region throughout Tuesday. Down south, increased cloud cover is expected with prospects of morning thunderstorms to Cross River states. Later during the day, there are better prospects of thunderstorms to the stretch of the coast, parts of Edo, Delta, Ogun, Ondo, Enugu, Ebonyi, including parts of Kogi, Kwara, with slim prospects of thunderstorms to parts of Nasarawa and the Federal Capital Territory. Up next is the Air Quality Index. I'm Theodora Itum. Thank you for watching.
On that note, we conclude the network news on NTA. Thanks for watching. Remember to keep supporting NTA's campaign against rape and rapists. From all of us, have a good night.